Alright then guys, welcome to DFRL's round 4 of the Dragon Force Racing League's F1 series. Monday night, which had a slight delay tonight just on getting set up, so just bear with us a few minutes please, that'd be absolutely brilliant. But circuit of Monaco for tonight should be hopefully quite an entertaining little track for us. Short qualifying, 18 minutes, followed by 50% race, being 39 laps of the iconic circuit. Quite a lot of history behind the circuit of Monaco. Going all the way back to 1929 when the first race was held there. However, it's changed names on over 10 occasions between now and then. Circuit layout hasn't actually changed, although it has been improved in terms of safety, especially around the swimming pool area of the track, which we'll follow around a little later on as we ride on board with a few of the drivers and run through the corners. Although track was first used in 1929, 1950's first race and in the official F1 World Championship year was won by Juan Fangio, which was absolutely iconic, and it was in the Alfa Romeo back then. Now obviously Alfa Romeo have taken the headline name of what was the Sauber team very recently. Let's see if someone could put an Alfa Romeo on the top step this evening. In terms of the history of it, a lot of the big names like to challenge themselves here and would love to take the win. Most notably, Ayrton Senna taking 6 wins here at Monaco, and Graham Hill just behind on 5 with Michael Schumacher. On the current grids, the most wins by any driver is Lewis Hamilton on 3, and Sebastian Vettel just behind on 2 wins. As a constructor, McLaren are a long way ahead in terms of wins here. 15 wins for the McLaren F1 team over the years, most notably the wins in the era. Oh, hello, sorry, just caught something out the corner of my eye. Yeah, most notably, apologies, going through the Hunt and Lauda days where there was a lot of battling, and I'm sure a few people have seen films to reminisce those days. Film Rush a few years ago, absolutely iconic piece to watch. In terms of the circuit itself, 3.3 kilometres, one of the shortest circuits on the current calendar and one of the shortest circuits of all time ever raced by Formula 1, which is 3.3 kilometres, 2.0 miles, so a very, very short lap indeed. 78 laps if you are racing the full race distance, just a half race distance tonight, however. Now, for those of you that are into all your motorsports and not just Formula 1, you would have probably heard of the Driver's Triple Crown. This is the most prestigious award that any racing driver in the world wants to get their hands on. But to date, only one person in history has ever achieved it. The Triple Crown is to win the Indy 500, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and the Monaco Grand Prix. Now, to do all 3, you need to be able to drive 3 very different styles of car. That's straight away and foremost the hardest part of that. Obviously, adapting to different cars, I'm pretty confident would not be that easy. So fair play to them all. The only driver that's currently attempting it, or wanted to attempt it, is Fernando Alonso. Some of you may remember back in 2016, Alonso did actually miss out on the Monaco Grand Prix in his hunt to get the Triple Crown, and Jenson Button stepped in for him on that particular day. Had a little bit of a joke with Fernando over the radio just as Jenson headed out for his formation lap, around to take his place on the grid, and had a little bit of a joke that he was going to wee in Fernando Alonso's seat. So all good humour, I'm sure, as they were teammates earlier on as well. But in terms of the Triple Crown, Graham Hill is the only person to date that has managed to claim the Triple Crown, and that was back in 1972. A few drivers already readying up then. It seems a little bit premature, certainly missing a few drivers tonight as it seems, but I'm sure nonetheless we'll have an absolute smashing race for you. Looking at the grid, our host and also Drivers' Championship leader Spencer Milton is in. Its nearest competition is Harras, who is currently 13 points back, is also in. So looking at drivers' table and contention, the top few in there are all in for tonight's race. That is absolutely brilliant news going forward. Drivers' table is getting quite close now. Spencer's heading it on 45 points with just the one race win so far. Harras is in P2, which is 32 points, 13 points back, one race win, which was last time out. So we'll see if he can take another win tonight and try and either close the gap or even potentially jump in front of Spencer in the drivers' table. Although he is very, very closely chased by Knowsley in P3 on 30 points, just 2 points behind Harras in the table. So it is getting very, very tight from P2 back. In terms of the constructors, well, all I can say at the minute is Mercedes really are starting to pull a gap over second place. So Mercedes are heading it with 77 points, 33 points ahead of Ferrari in P2. Now Ferrari have got battle on their hands. Alfa Romeo sat just 2 points behind in P3, and then a bit of a drop down to the Haas team in P4 on 30 points. Looking back through the table, at the back you got Aston Martin on 3 points and AlphaTauri on 1, so I'll definitely be looking to get some points on the board this evening. So there we go, finally loaded into the race. Obviously got the 18 minutes qualifying, the timer has started countdown, but the first minute will be drivers just trying to make sure they've got their setups on, and certainly could be quite entertaining. I would certainly expect to see intermediate tyres looking at the weather. However, some people might risk it with a quick slick lap. Let's see what people get up to. In fact, not Luke Beck gone out on the mediums. It's showing on the graphic at the minute. We'll try and grab whoever's at the front. It is a Ferrari. Right, here we go then. Best time of the night. Taking a nice run around the track, and we'll see what happens. Always a good way to have a look around and start the night off. So Piro Raptor is the first car out on track, so we'll follow him around on his outlap and then see how he gets on. I certainly won't be hoping to cut that corner on his official timed lap when he does go over the start finish. In terms of corner cutting around here, it is very, very easy down here at turn 10 to cut the chicane and get a warning, or if it's deliberate and you go straight across, a straight slam dunk 3-second time penalty there. So I'm going to take a wild presumption that drivers will try their best to avoid it, but on occasion you may see the odd driver wear over those limits and face penalties throughout the session. Now, with the barriers being so close in, there aren't many places you can get away with cutting the corners, especially if you would like to keep your car intact. As we watch Piro go over the start finish line on his flying lap, heading to Santavot and up the lovely tight straight. Now a little bit of oversteer there as he enters the base of the hill. nice and tight through Casino. Brilliant line, just seemed a little bit late on the power. There it goes, he goes into the Grand Hotel hairpin, nice and tight. Now you will see two cars try and battle it out there at some point tonight, most likely. However, 2 into 1 really does not go, and it is very commonplace to see accidents, so we'll be keeping a very close eye on that later. Heading through the tunnel, trying to apex it to the right hand side. Absolutely perfect, down into the chicane, and just clips the inside wall there, spinning him around. Make sure he gets well out of the way of Obscure Cheese. So we'll pick up with Obscure Cheese, as Piro's obviously going to need to reset for the next lap. Obscure Cheese gone purple in the middle sector, going through the back end of swim pool section. Very fast flowing section, but you don't want to overstep it, you will end up in a barrier. And just getting a little bit wrong on the entry there. A little bit of slides, we try and pick up back end out of the final corner, but it does set the benchmark at 1:23.8, which is quite a substantial time compared to what we'd expect on the slick tyres. However, obviously with the current conditions, it is going to be extremely hard for the drivers to judge whether they are on the right tyre. Tyre delta with the intermediates tends to be around 8 to 10 seconds. Now, these guys that have put in time so far are just over 10 seconds off where a slick tyre run would usually be for a qualifying lap. So, personally, I'd probably thinking about the intermediate tyre, as we can see Obscure Cheese here, even on the in lap, sliding around. Let's pick up with the McLaren of William Gaiman. A little bit of slide as we enter the tunnel there. Nouvelle chicane, not very forgiving, but he does manage to get around it in one piece, so it's a good start. Just scrubbing a little bit of speed that he probably wouldn't have wanted to do that. None of these drivers overly pushing the limits as it stands. I think they're all very, very wary, just trying to get a time on the board in the conditions. Spencer Milton, our championship leader, has just gone fastest on a 1:20.5. That is considerably quicker than any other driver at the moment. 1.2 seconds up on his nearest rival. As we say that, not Luke Beck just going over the line and doing a 1:20.7, only 2 tenths back. Who have we got on laps at the minute? So the next one that will be coming up is Piro Raptor going back around again, obviously after his little spin earlier on. Let's see if he managed it on this occasion. Around Nouvelle chicane, and lovely exit as well. Brilliant line through there. Managed to judge his speed absolutely perfectly. Very, very close up to the walls. Just about got away with it. There we go, just carried a little bit of speed there. Don't think he's taken any damage. However, you don't want to scrape these walls on too many occasions. Note he has bailed into the box on this lap. That was on 2 lap-old tyres, however. Right. So Sock taking a lovely line through there, actually, considering. Now, I've not seen any driver indicate they're wanting to go on to the intermediates yet. However, it does look like it is getting much, much worse in terms of the conditions at the moment. It's heading down into La Rascasse. Very, very cautious there, but well controlled. What's his time going to be? Just puts him up to P7 at the minute, 1:22.6. We are a long, long way off the current quickest time, as Spencer Milton goes for a second hot lap, putting in a 1:19.1 and absolutely smashing the field away by 1.6 seconds as it stands for provisional pole position. Can anyone respond to that as we are speaking? Obscure Cheese looks like, I know he's on an out lap, so it's like I'll finish lap. Who else have got on lap? ZX Josh. Oh no, that is a front wing. We just picked him up at the wrong time there, and I'm sure he won't be overly impressed that we managed to pick him up just at that particular moment, but he'll be making a dash back to get a new front wing. Alright, and so Harras chasing down his teammate in the Drivers' Championship. 13 points behind. Can he do it tonight? Well, pole position would certainly give him a good edge, as it is incredibly difficult to overtake it. Going to Raskas, let's see how he goes. A little bit of a slide there. I know he's heading into the pits as well. Not much action on the track at the minute. Just pick up Obscure Cheese. He goes a little bit hot into turn 5, trying to take it nice and tight through Grand Hotel. Hairpin, he's getting all out of sorts, so I would take a wild guess that this is becoming an increasingly slippy surface, and the slick tyres really have got nothing more to give in terms of grip. And yeah, that's an invalidated lap now, although it wouldn't have been a representative lap anyway with the instance we've had up till now. Who else can we pick up? Pirozol, Spencer Milton. Let's have a look at the championship leader then. Currently sat very happily on provisional pole at the minute, 1.3 seconds ahead of Soursock in P2. Now he has also done that time on the medium tyre, which is a lot more durable, so needing to start the race on that set of tyres will certainly be at its benefit right now. However, it is 4 lap old mediums as it stands. It does look to me like he has backed off completely. Yeah, he has backed off there. Okay, let's pick up. Soursock's gone for a second hot lap here. No improvement. Right, Obscure Cheese. So we sort of have a little bit of a wobble on that last lap. Let's see how he's getting on as we rejoin him. Here, go through the tunnel. No, and that's an invalidation. Again, Novo chicane catching people out on the terms of the track limits. As the Ferrari Pira Raptor finally has managed to hook up his lap and take him up to provisionally the front row there, 120.2, 2 tenths quicker than his closest competitor behind. However, that is still 1.1 off Spencer. That is really showing how good a lap Spencer has been able to put in there on those medium tyres, considering the majority behind are on the soft tyre. Now I'm quite interested to ride on board with Harras. He's just coming up to start his lap and he's gone out on the intermediate tyre, so he's the first person to do that. So let's ride on board, see how he gets on. Lovely line in Santavant. Nice quick section, turn 3 into Casino, turn 4. Seems to be hooking it up quite well at the moment. A very tight little turn in there on turn 5. A lot of people do get caught out. So is that track limits? That is track limits. That is how close it is. Just raised up all 4 wheels onto the curbed area, and that is your track limits, so he will have to loop back around once again. Knowsley is taking a very, very slow roll towards the hairpin. I think he is just making room for other drivers. I think Luke back there just having a little look to just double check whether he's got damage or whether he needs to be keeping well out of the way. Right, so let's have a look. William Gaming in that time has gone out on a set of softs on an absolute belter of a lap and gone within half a second of Spencer, so he is now now sitting pretty on the front row there with Spencer. In fact, it looks like he's thrown absolutely everything at it on this particular lap as well, as we join on board through the swimming pool, heading through Rascas now. No, there's no improvement on that lap. I think that's what he was looking for. He's got an extra lap on those tyres now, so I'm pretty sure he'll be heading into the pits. Right, let's see, we're going in the pits as well, are we? Got fuel on out laps. William Gaming is on a in lap, so we will leave him to it. We'll pick up with Zenix Josh then in a Red Bull. Not particularly representative time yet, but he's heading out the final corner, and we'll watch him around this lap. Nice and tight in turn 3, and beautifully taken right to the walls going through Casino. Certainly seems much better and more hooked up than earlier on. Often with the Monaco Grand Prix, a lot of the times aren't always the fastest that you need, but it's the consistency, keeping out of the wall, don't cause yourself any damage. If you can stay out of trouble, you can easily find yourself picking up places throughout the Grand Prix, which is potentially what some of these may use as a strategy this evening. Let's try and see who else we've got out. We've got Sawsock out on a out lap as well, teammate to Zenix Josh, but Josh just coming into the last couple of corners. On board, he's already done a 1:22.0. It certainly looks faster than that, not necessarily mean it is. 1:21.1, so in fact that was 9/10 quicker, which is an absolutely great gain. However, he does stay exactly where he is, and he takes a spin. Thankfully that is not on his lap, and that's a very awkward place to turn around. We'll just ride on board to see if he can get it going. There we go. He's off again. He would be trying to keep well out of the way of those behind. He has got people joining the track behind, but no one on a lap at this point. Where's Sawsock then? Sawsock is Zenix Josh's teammate. He's just coming round on his out lap towards sector 3, so we'll just wait for him to head on to his laps next one. Just 2 minutes left in the session, so any drivers need a late opportunity to just jump up the order a little bit, or maybe change their strategy and their starting tyre if they really want to push it. We'll be starting to head out in the next couple of moments. See Sawsock really using all the track limit there in Sandpot. Very, very wide. I think just a little bit late on the brakes, heading into Casino. Much better exit there. Hopefully he didn't lose too much time before that. He's already done a 1:20.4. Is this going to be faster? Honestly, at the moment I can't tell whether it is or not. There's a wide range of tyres being used. Now, if it is a dry start to the race, those that have done their fastest lap on the intermediate, so at the minute just the Haas of Knowsley in P7, would get the option of a dry tyre to start on, as Sawsock just decides to go straight across Novell chicane. So we'll join on with someone else. Who else haven't we joined on? I'll tell you what, let's join Knowsley with the intermediate tyre, see how he's getting on. He's currently P7. He's got a little bit of time to find, but every 10th he finds, he's going to find himself creeping up that order. As I say that again, straight across Novell chicane. Okie dokie. Okay, Harris in the Mercedes, and he's gone for the medium tyre for a nice fresh set. A little bit slippery out there still though for these guys on the slick, certainly having to work hard. You can see the steering wheel cutting from left to right as these guys are having to steer back and forth just to try and harass the car almost and keep it going in a straight line. Absolutely flying through swimming pool. Can he hook it up at the back end? Yes, he can. Just Rashcast to go a little bit deep as he kept it out of the wall. He has just about. Final corner, get on the power as quickly as possible. Straight up to the line. Can he improve his time? Yes, he's jumped up to 4th with a 120.4. Now, can anyone else challenge for pole? William Gaiman is the nearest that is on track at the moment or able to do anything. He has gone purple sector 2. Beautifully hooked up through swimming pool. Head into the final corner. How quickly he can get that power down. Every 10th counts. Can he take the pole? No, he can't. Just misses out by a 10th of a second. That puts him up into P2. It is a front row unless Xenix Josh can improve his time. He is on a lap at the moment. Last person that could potentially displace that front row as he... no, that is it. Rashcast caught him out a little bit late on the brakes, locked up and into the wall. That is qualifying over. And Spencer Milton taking another pole position, 1:19.1, and looked untouchable through that session. William Gaiman had an excellent lap on his last attempt to try and close that gap, just missing out by a 10th of a second there. 2 tenths back to Pirro Raptor in a Ferrari in P3. There we are then, confirmation of the starting order after qualifying there. It's top 4 medium tyre. Sawsock in the Red Bull is first one on the soft, followed by Luke Beck on the medium again. Nosley and Obscure Cheese on the soft tyres, and then from 9th downwards no times have been set, so they will get a choice of tyre at the start of the Grand Prix. Just out of interest, let's have a little look. Certainly a lot of instances there. Pretty much all of them are invalidating lap times, where the guys have been pushing the track limits. Obviously, you need to push the track limits, try and get every 10th out of your lap. If you don't, you're no longer a racing driver. It's simple as that. It's the same as going for a gap. If you don't go for a gap, I say you're no longer a racing driver. If you don't go for a gap within reason, that is acceptable. You're no longer a racing driver. Obviously, there is a very fine line between what is and isn't acceptable, which is why all these leagues do have driver stewards, so any instance in the race do get referred to them afterwards. As we just sit and wait for the game to catch up as we all load in for the Grand Prix. There we go. Time is now counting down at the top of the screen, 25 seconds to go. At this point, the guys are all just picking their cars in terms of their strategies for the race. See, nice, bright, sunny. So those that have qualified with times in the top 10, so from P8 upwards, will all need to start on the time they put their fast lap in. So P9, 10 and 11 will all start on a fresh set of tyres, as we see them all starting to get ready for their formation lap. There we go. So confirmation of the tyre choices. So, as said, the top 8 are all on the tyres that they qualified on, their fastest time. So just the 3 of them there on the soft tyres. So expect to see them making a little bit of a move on the first couple of laps. Make use of those soft tyres before they need to box in for a fresh set of boots. The medium runners, however, certainly won't want an early safety car, and they will want to run pretty long. Those soft runners, if there's an early safety car, I would expect them to dive into the pits pretty quick and bolt a set of hard tyres on to go as long as they possibly can. P9 onwards, we are mediums back. Other than Frenzy there on the hard tyres at the very back of the grid. Quite an interesting choice to go for as we see the pit stop strategy come up. So mediums, 1 stop to hard tyres on lap 19, or 2 stop is also possible, but the preference is definitely medium tyre from the start of this Grand Prix. There we go, so don't worry about Obscure Cheese and Close Spanner. They're having a disqualification. It means they've clipped each other on the formation lap. They will probably start on what will be fairly cold tyres. Slight disadvantage, but that is the way it goes. As we just wait for the last few cars to line up, ladies and gentlemen, the Dragon Force Racing League Monaco Grand Prix Round 4. We've got 5 lights. Lights out and away they go. Great start there by Spencer up front. Getting very, very tightly packed behind that. All seems to be getting a little bit bottlenecked by the McLaren. As they head up, I can't see anyone with any issues back there as of yet. All looks very, very tidy at the moment. No particular drops that look like. Oh, there's certainly a rear wing or something in the background. There we are. Obscure Cheese is round. His rear wing had gone, and there we are. That is Tommy out of the race already. There, very, very unlucky. Not quite sure how he got caught up. Debris flying absolutely everywhere. Obscure Cheese being landed with a 5-second penalty for that collision as he limps back to the pit lane. See Frenzy there drop right off the back of the grid. Not sure if he has got damage or not. He's riding on board with Knowsley, trying to get through the pack. A little bit of a lock up there from the Ferrari. Can't quite get the job done. He'll be looking into turn 1 if he can get a good exit off the final corner. It's only a short run up to turn 1. He can't get the job done into Sandoval. Will he get it done up in towards the casino? Obscure Cheese 5-second time penalty again for speeding in the pit lane, just to make it even worse for him. It's really not going his way at this early stage of the Grand Prix. It's Sawsock also in the pits at the minute. William Gaming closing up on our championship leader and race leader at the minute, Spencer. Can he do anything going down into Nouvelle Chicane on the way through the tunnel? He is certainly not close enough. He'd have to be extremely brave on the brakes, but would not manage to get across safely. There you go. Managed to take it tidily, but certainly not close enough for a pass at this point. It's certainly closest battle on track at the moment. No one has particularly gained on that opening lap other than Frenzy there on the hard tyres. Come from P12 up to P8, obviously taking a little bit of advantage of the earlier collision. Sawsock is down 5, obviously went in for his pit stop very early on. We presume he did take wing damage at the start of the Grand Prix as well. Luke Beck sat in P6 in his Aston Martin at the minute, trying to close down the Haas of Knowsley in front. Certainly get a little bit closer. Let's have a look and just follow him round for a moment. Head down into Grand Hotel Chicane. Chicane, hairpin, apologies. That's certainly not close enough at the minute. Will he try and line it up? How good is his exit? No, certainly not going to be close enough there into the chicane. So everything settles down for the moment. William Gaming has gone off, giving Harras a little bit of a jump there. So that is now the Mercedes up into P1, P2. They're already running away with the championship. Can they run away with the race as well this evening? certainly poised to do that. Also brought Raptor and the Ferrari back into play. He'll be looking for a strong showing and a podium this evening. Pirro actually has no points on the board at the moment in the drivers' table, so every point counts. And they're certainly closing that gap 0.3 of a second as they head through Casino. Everyone being very well behaved as it stands. Zenix Josh out of the race. Took a corner quitting penalty that popped up, and then he has gone to a DNF, so I believe he may have run a curb. It looks like it was at the exit of swimming pool we're just heading down to now with the race leaders. We ride on board, probably see the stranded Red Bull. It has been cleared, but not what we would have wanted. He's been on form of late, but sadly not his race today. Already down to 10 drivers in this Monaco Grand Prix, 5 laps down. Raptor there heading into the pit lane. Very, very early stop. Take a presumption that he's had damage as well. Yeah, wing change. He's still sat there, there we go. Alright, so he's back on his way. Is he going to get in front of the McLaren? No, he will be out in front of the Red Bull though. So rejoin on a new set of soft tyres in P8. Certainly looking to go fast rather than go long. Frenzy has done extremely well out of this, going from P12 to P7. Obviously there have been a few incidents in there as well, but he's just buying his time, keeping it clean, and he's chipping away at those places. Not Luke Beck, still stuck around the 6/10 mark behind Knowsley as he follows him round. They have obviously jumped to a place where Raptor has taken his pit stop, however, but these guys will be wanting to pit a little bit later on. There's a lot of penalties around as well, so let's have a little look. In terms of penalties, so the two Mercedes out front seem very happy just to be sat ahead of the field as it stands, and yeah, there's a little bit of a battle there. William Gaiman just getting onto the back of Harras just as we say that. Oh, and Harras completely messed his lines up going in through Casino. William Gaiman not asking for a second chance there, taking the opportunity, and there we go. Yeah, he is now quite happily sat in P2 once again. He's had a very good showing so far this evening. Can he keep it up? So in terms of penalties, currently 3 seconds for William Gaiman in P2, 3 for the Aston Martin in P4, 6 seconds for Pirro Raptor. He's already had 2 corner quitting penalties. Another three. Obscure Cheese there with a 5-second penalty. That is from his accident earlier on in the race, which will, I am sure, be looked at after the race by the stewards. Pirro Raptor making inroads now into Frenzy up ahead. Obviously he is on a soft tyre compared to Frenzy's hard, so we would expect him to be quicker per lap. Let's see how quickly he closes the gap. As Sorsok has retired from the race, that is just after the Novell chicane. Let's see, Obscure Cheese picking up another 3-second time penalty as well. Ferrari not able to make any inroads as it stands, even though he's on the softer tyre. He won't want to be stuck behind the McLaren for too long if he wants to stretch these soft tyres out for as long as possible, make the use of them. He will want nice clear air to try and put some distance between him and Frenzy. So Frenzy has still got to stop. Pirro has already stopped once, so in terms of his overall pace, it's certainly quicker. But as it stands, they're both going to need a minimum of one more pit stop in this race this evening. Seeing close within 2/10 now, getting very, very close. I can't see him making it into the swimming pool. No, will he make a look into Rascast? Probably not. But he's certainly going to try and line it up. He'll follow this all the way down the main straight and look into turn 1. He certainly gets the better exit and DRS. Which way is he going to go? He's going to go to the inside as he takes Frenzy very early on. I think Frenzy knew that battle just was not for him. He's buying his time, playing a long game. And Pyrrha wraps in the Ferrari up to P6. There's our race leader then. So, Spencer Milton out in front. 4.8, 4.9 seconds. Certainly seems very, very happy out there. I mean, Obscure Cheese picking up another time penalty of 3 seconds and a 5 second, which is a deliberate corner cutting. I would not be surprised to see him out of this race. Let me have a little look on penalties. Oh, and he has retired from the race. I see a new fastest lap for Spencer Milton there. Certainly trying to pump in the lap time to make use of these medium tyres. Obviously he did do 4 laps on them in qualifying as well, so there's quite a lot of tyre wear on these now, up to 13 laps. So it'll be quite interesting to see when he decides to dive into the pits. Expecting he'll go on to the hard tyre until the end, however, so if that be the case, we probably won't see him in until around lap 17-18 for his hopefully one and only pit stop this evening. Frenzy in the McLaren, certainly getting very, very close down here at this battle. I'm going to ride on board from a little further back with Knowsley. As you see, Pyrrha take to the wall, his front wing's gone, there we go. So this should be McLaren through. I'd expect him to let the Haas through. No, he's still going to fight it, even without a front wing. He does need to yield there, sadly. He's got damage. He just want to cause damage to another car. So picking up with Knowsley then, he's not going to want to let the McLaren get away down through the tunnel. Will he have a look into Nouvelle Chicane? I doubt it, he's a little bit too far back. But certainly a good opportunity to start lining it up again for turn 1. Now you might think turn 1's a long way away. These guys will go through turn 1 and then straight away start planning for turn 1 on the following lap. It's such a long lap. Short lap, apologies. You really do need to start planning ahead. See Pyrrha there picking up multiple penalties. Are we going to see him potentially retire from the race, which would be an absolute shame? He's got to have a front wing change anyway. 5-second penalty as well for deliberately cutting a corner. That's what he's serving there. That's why he's stationary for so long. Onto his hard tyres. The F1 graphics doing their absolute utmost once again. He goes onto the hard tyre. Surely he can't take those to the end of the race. So closest battle on track at the minute is Frenzy here in the McLaren. Now, he has got Knowsley who's just got past. He is pulling away slightly. Everything has settled down. Now, has the AlphaTauri actually pit? I'm not 100%. No, he hasn't. So at the minute, in terms of pit stops, the top 5 haven't pit. However, Pyrrha is out as well from the race. I didn't see what happened there. Whereabouts is it? It's just here, in fact. He's looks like he's pulled off almost, rather than hit the wall. But Pyrrha out of the race, taking us down to just 7 drivers remaining. We've almost gone down to half the drivers, and we're only a third of the way into this race. Certainly a long way to go. So the only person who has stopped as of current is Knowsley in P6. He's on 5 lap old hard tyres. How long do we think he can drag them out? Well, he should be able to get around 25 laps out of the hard tyre. If you're very, very careful, 30 laps. I'd expect to see him in for a soft tyre right towards the back end, or if there's a safety car, any time from around lap 22, 23. I'd expect him to dive in for the medium tyre to the end of the race. Certainly very hard to call. Obviously we're all humans, we don't have a team of engineers on a pit wall talking to us. We have Jeff, the game's inbuilt computer, who would suggest absolutely mad strategies, whether it be a 4-stop soft compound race. That I don't know where they get the information from to actually build these strategies. It's absolutely unbelievable. Now, just looking up the order, Harass there in a Mercedes, certainly starting to gain on William Gaiman. Both on medium tyres, both the same age, same for the top 5. So this is pure pace they're looking at now. He's dropped back a little bit again. He seems to be gaining in the braking zone, so certainly keep an eye on that. Now, did William Gaiman just lose his end plate on his wing? Yes, he has, and he's dived into the box. That has just gifted the Mercedes not only P2 but DRS as well to help him have a little bit of a run. And yeah, Mercedes back P1, P2 yet again in this Grand Prix. The AlphaTauri picking up another place while William Gaiman is in the pit lane. He's up into 4th now. How long can he take these medium tyres? Well, we'll find out very, very shortly. I'd expect the pit window will open around lap 17. It's a matter of who's going to blink first. In terms of the top 2, as long as they don't pit at the same time, they will both be just fine, I think. They will be in the pit window to drop down to 4th place if Spencer did come in first. However, with the time differences on track at the moment, and with the fact that they're all on the same tyre with the same amount of laps, I'd expect to see them all in with a very, very short time period. Closer Panzer is just closing the gap a little bit to not look back in P3. Is he playing the long game and just trying to buy his time, wait for a mistake up ahead, as he's looking to line himself up to get a podium here this evening, very, very early in the race. But by now these drivers would have decided if they are going to go out at full throttle or whether they're going to just buy the time for the race. Personally, out on the Monaco track, I do tend to just buy my time a little bit. So another Knowsley out as well from the race. I didn't see that pop up on my screen. Now, in fact, he was in the pit lane at the time, so he has retired in the pit lane. So I do think that's an intentional retirement from the session, sadly. It's down to 6 drivers. Both McLaren still running at the back in P5, P6. The AlphaTauri in P4, Aston Martin P3, and then the 2 Mercedes out front. This really is going to mean Mercedes are going to run away with this Constructors' Championship quite quickly. Their nearest competitor, Ferrari, both cars are out. Alfa Romeo, there are no cars left in either. Haas, no. Red Bull, no. In fact, the nearest in terms of the Constructors' Championship at the minute is McLaren, have 4 points in the championship. Aston Martin have 3 and AlphaTauri have 1. So they are right in single figures at the bottom of the Constructors' table, and yet they are the teams that have drivers still running, other than the 2 Mercedes that are looking to absolutely dominate here. Now, I don't know whether Spencer's ever had a win here in Monaco before, but one team that have taken their maiden win in Formula 1 here. Back in 2006 was the Red Bull team with David Coulthard. So let's see if Spencer's going to be taking his maiden win here. He will need to confirm that one for me, however. To be honest, with his pace, I want to say Spencer would have won a race here at some point. But now I've said it, it'll probably be wrong. William Gaynor picking up another 3-second time penalty as well. Penalties not looking too bad now, because most of the guys that were picking up penalties have retired for one reason or another in this race. Just trying to keep an eye on the leader, see when he's going to box in. It is the early end of the pit window. I don't expect him in yet. No, he's going round yet again. The AlphaTauri is still trying to close up on the Aston Martin of not Luke Beck, but still making no inroads, just sitting inside the 1 second DRS zone. He will get DRS yet again on this lap, but again, he's just not close enough to make the move. With it being such a short run, and really only 2 opportunities on the track, here into Sandevot and into Nouvelle Chicane after the tunnel for passing, you really need to be within 4 or 5 tenths of the car in front to even consider taking the pass here at Monaco. A lot of people do regard it as a parade, and honestly I am one of those people, if I'm completely honest. And you can see why. It is such a hard track to pass on. You really do need to buy your time. If you buy your time, make a pass somewhere other than those 2 obvious places, you're almost looked upon as a hero. But it is very, very easy to make a mistake here. Chasing again. As you see, the Aston Martin are using a little bit of DRS just to give him a little bit of a extra push up the main straight, just to keep that distance to the AlphaTauri. Make sure he stays behind, and then we'll see him try to pull away. As in fact, the AlphaTauri really getting closer here. This is the closest we've seen him in the last few laps. Can he do anything about it? He got a slightly better exit from the hairpin. Can he continue that down through the tunnel? Certainly a better exit. See the time coming down, 4 tenths. He's still not going to be close enough, surely, to make a pass here. He's looking. Was that contact? It certainly was a little bit of a nudge. He has backed off and accepted that he was in the wrong there. Fair play to him. And they will go racing once again. I'm just trying to see if he did pick up any damage there. I can't see any damage to the front wing, so hopefully they can continue on the battle. Oh no, he is in. After saying that he is in, that is that for the time being. I'm sure those guys will go racing again very, very soon, as they all need to pit. Now, will this set any of the other guys off for pit stops? As amazingly, he goes on to the soft tyre. Now, we're expecting the one stop to be medium to softs, mediums to hard, sorry. So going on to the soft tyre is quite surprising, to be completely honest. Where is the McLaren of Frenzy? No, he is not going to catch him on this occasion yet. Frenzy has still got to pit, but this also means that Closet. Oh my god! Just watching that. Sorry, do apologise. Getting right in a muddle there. Just watching that. Now then, where is our race leader? He has gone round again. Harras going round again. Not Luke Beck. Is he going to take a punt and take the earlier pit stop? No, he's not. Definitely wanting to extend the life of these medium tyres. They can't be feeling overly fresh right about now. Certainly going to be in the higher window and getting ready for their pit stops. But who's going to blink first? We'll just keep an eye on these guys to see. Spencer's pulled out a 12-second gap now on his teammate in P2, and to be honest, doing an absolute sublime job out front from what we can see. Now we're at the point, in terms of intervals at the minute, the closest interval is 5 seconds, which is Frenzy, which is on Close Sapanza, sorry, apologies for not being able to pronounce your name properly, I really do apologise. Is that a Mercedes in? That is. Which Mercedes is it? It is Harras, taking the first pit stop and going on the soft tyre as well. This has turned into a two-stop strategy then. Lap 21, I'd expect to see all drivers that have chosen the softs now back in on lap 30. Let's ride on board with our race leader for a moment then. Not had much coverage because he's been out the front on his own for the entire race so far, doing an absolutely brilliant job. 20 seconds out as we see a new fast lap, a 1:11.7 from the AlphaTauri. Now that was unexpected, but he has stopped onto new soft tyres. Very, very interesting indeed. Now the question is, will Spencer go for the two-stop option like everybody else, or is he going to bolt on the hard, play it sensible and go long? He's staying out again. Absolutely amazing drive this so far. I'd love to know what his tyre wear's on. 21 laps done plus qualifying, taking him up to 25 laps because he did extra laps on these tyres during qualifying. So these tyres really must be screaming right about now. At the point, I'm half expecting the McLaren of Frenzy to pit in for mediums. As we see a yellow flag, William Gaming is out in sector 3. It was the end of swimming pool. Now I don't know whether he's gone in for a battle there or whether he's just run the curb. Not Luke Bett has also headed into the pits. He's back out of the pits in the time we've said that on the soft tyre. Two stop again and got a corner cutting penalty weirdly there. Very odd place to get a corner cutting penalty on the way out of the pit lane. We'll have to see. But down to 5 drivers now in this Monaco Grand Prix. Only just gone half race distance. At this rate, we'll be lucky to get a podium out of it. And it's more down to being so unlucky. It's a brutal, brutal track. If you can hook it up right, time and time again, you could be the slowest driver on the grid and take a podium or even a win here, just by keeping it clean. It is that important. But not to be for many drivers today, not their day. They'll get another attempt next week. A 1:11.5 by Harras after him bolting on his fresh soft tyres. Right then, where is our race leader? Here he is. He's still not boxed in. Are we going to see him this lap? Or is he going to really try and push it to a one stop and go for the soft tyre? Didn't even think that would be a possibility or a question in anyone's mind. But the way he's pushing, a little bit of a slide there on the exit of Raskas, but I think all well controlled at the minute. I think it's just the grip's starting to go away from him a little bit. I certainly wouldn't be taking any liberties or any bets with these tyres, knowing I've got such an advantage. He's now got a full pit stop on his teammate, plus everyone else in the race does need to stop again. Let's have a look. There's no one particularly closing in behind. Let's look. AlphaTauri, it certainly looks quicker right now on these soft tyres. There he goes. Fastest lap at the minute with Harris is 11.5. So he only beat Luke Beck's fastest by 600ths of a second. So very, very close there. Is this race leader in? Finally into the race. Let's see how far ahead he's going to be when he does rejoin the track. Lead was 27 seconds coming in. Where is his teammate? His teammate still hasn't come out of the final corner. Coming out of the final corner now. As we see Spencer there, rejoin the track in first place as the Delta just sorts itself out. 8.5 seconds. The gap now back to P2. So a little bit of leeway there, and certainly plenty in to do another stop. Now, based on the laps that Spencer Milton has been able to drag out of those medium tyres, he could go to the end on these soft tyres. I think he's left himself a pit stop in hand if he did have an accident, God forbid, and need a wing change there. So in fact this could be an absolutely incredible race, a medium soft strategy. Certainly unexpected, both by myself and I would hope by the majority of others. I've certainly never seen it done as far as I can remember. That's a lovely view, just looking through the cockpit there. Let's head down into the Nouvelle chicane. This is the nearest battle on the track, is 6 seconds. It's not really a battle, it is now a parade to the end, and a question of, is anyone else going to make a mistake? Now, not Luke Beck has got 9 seconds of penalties. Close Spanzer has got 3 seconds of penalties, although he's just got another 5 seconds there for speeding the pit lane. That's now 8. He is going in very, very early for this stop. Is he trying to take the undercut? No, he's trying to get a new wing. Okay, there we go then, to answer that question. He is now going to put in some hot laps and try to get out and make sure that Frenzy will still stay behind, and Luke Beck, he's going to try and get that gap down to, I'd expect. Luke Beck and Harris, we expect to stop again. Frenzy hasn't yet stopped in this race. He must make a pit stop at some point. Based on tyres, Frenzy will still come out in 5th place, I believe. Unless Close Spanzer does have an issue. Spencer Milton on his brand new set of soft tyres, they're going for a 1:10.7. That fastest lap, 0.8 quicker than the previous fastest lap by his teammate. Let's see that gap back to his teammate now already increased to nearly 12 seconds, and he is now officially running away, not only with the race, with the Constructors' Championship for Mercedes, and with the Drivers' Championship as well. 25 points, and the fastest lap would see him up to 71 points in the championship. Harris does manage to keep it in P2. He would only go up to 50 points, so it would give Spencer a 21 point lead in the championship compared to a 13 point lead coming into this race this evening. See Frenzy exit after his pit stop there onto the soft tyre as well. So all drivers now are going to probably push to go to the end. I really do think Harris might need another pit stop. Who is that yellow flag for? It is the AlphaTauri. I think he's gone into a wall. Let's have a look, see if we can... Yeah, there we go. No front wing on the AlphaTauri. He is going to come in. Frenzy is going to get up to P4 because of this. If at this rate. Also, we have now got Spencer in the lead, closing in on Frenzy in P5. He's not that far away. So Frenzy's just gone into Nouvelle Chicane, turn 9, as Spencer was exiting Portier at turn 8. So certainly not that far behind now. Could see them race leader catch the back of the field by the end of this race. See the AlphaTauri going for his front wing, and there is the McLaren ready to pounce. Through he goes. That is his hard strategy from the start of the race paying off nicely. See it jumped up to P4. See how far behind the AlphaTauri does come out behind, but certainly won't have enough laps to challenge based on the pace we've seen so far this evening. So Not Luke Bet running with 9 seconds of penalties. However, is it 9 seconds of penalties still? In fact, I'm sure he might have picked another one. Oh, he's picked up a few there. 17 seconds penalties. So he's coming to pit because his tyres presumably wouldn't make it to the end. That's all well and good. But look at this for Frenzy. Depending how much of a gap he's closed up, he's on the softer tyre. If he can get within that penalty window, Frenzy could find himself from the back of the grid starting P12 on the podium this evening. And that is now going to be the battle we're going to keep an eye on. He is quite a long way back still. It is a long shot. But those penalties certainly are quite hefty there. We're just seeing the time, interval time there, try and settle itself out. It is at the 20-second mark. No, it's going down still. There we go. It's settled around 19-second mark. So, in fact, Frenzy needs to gain 2 seconds, roughly, on Not Luke Bet. And Not Luke Bet not get another penalty to keep that podium. So there really is a fight for the podium now. Frenzy will now see that on his display, and he will now be pushing. He'll be giving everything he's got to the end of this race. He is on the soft tyre. It may drop off towards the very end of the race. He's going to be using absolutely everything right about now that he can give, as we see Not Luke Bet just on to get to grips with the feel of the nice fresh rubber. I'm sure it is pretty welcome at this point. And the AlphaTauri is still running down in P5 at the moment, but he has now been lapped as well, so it is only 38 laps. Does make it a little bit easier on fuel margins, although anyone who does play the game will know the fuel margins are pretty easy to manage in this. However, if any of these guys did under fuel, like the majority do tend to, we haven't obviously had a safety car period tonight, which is incredible for Monaco. And from a commentary point of view, the safety car actually makes it a little bit easier for commentary as well, gives you a little bit more to go off, closes the battling up. So it's made it incredibly difficult tonight in terms of the nearest fight on track is 12 seconds, so unless someone makes a brutal mistake, I think we are looking at our finishing order. The only person that could potentially change that is Frenzy down in P4. It's slowly taking a couple of tenths out of Not Luke Bet. Now all he's got to do is keep it clean, not penalty, and just keep closing that gap down tenth at a time. He could find himself on this podium. Just for the sake of actually seeing some wheel-to-wheel action, as we've not really seen much this evening, which has been a little bit of a shame, to be honest, but obviously with the numbers and obviously the incidents in the first couple of laps really did spread the field out. We'll ride on board with Harris in P2, as he's coming up to lap the AlphaTauri front. Now the AlphaTauri has actually got back in front of Harris at some point on the lap. The AlphaTauri will be ghosted because he's being a lap car. As per the game settings, it does ghost the car. But it'd just be nice to see two cars on track at the same time for the first time since around lap 3 of the race. Now every driver has their ideas. Some may want to go fastest lap towards the end of this. I can't see anyone going into pit and then do fast lap on a new set of tyres other than the AlphaTauri, just for the simple fact they would lose a place. It would only be one place you'd lose though. Harris could actually do it, get in, pit onto a new set of softs and come back out again. If he did want to steal fastest lap. Now I believe that fastest lap is his teammates at the minute, so yeah, let's see if he does do that. It's a possibility. A lot of people don't see it that way. He may just want to see it at home in second place. 18 points, still a good points haul, and not worth the risk of not finishing. If he did have an accident, and that was on the last lap, it would drop him down to P5. That's only 10 points, and he would certainly lose a lot more ground in the Drivers' Championship. A little bit deep there going into Nouvelle Chicane, but all recovered very nicely. So we head into Swim Pool again. I'm surprised not being more accidents here in Swim Pool tonight, to be honest. On a personal note, the sausage curb on the exit of the Swim Pool section is a notable favourite for myself to clip and take me into a wall and take me out of the race, or take a wing off. With my record being at 9 pit stops for a single 50% race, so that was one long evening for myself that evening. I think I was lapped about 3 times due to the length of the pit stops. But yeah, we're certainly not seeing anything like that tonight. 3 stops is the max on the board at the minute, and I don't think that's going to change as it stands. As see our race leader just pick up a 3-second time penalty. That was for his 3rd strike at corner cut-in. He's picked that up, and it was through Nouvelle Chicane at the end of the tunnel. It is a hard sequence of corners to get right time and time again, so it's no surprise that he's picked up a penalty finally. In fact, I'm quite impressed that there's this little penalties considering the track. So very good job by all these drivers this evening. So 15 seconds is the closest gap on track at the minute, which is the 2 Mercedes. Still keeping an eye on the gap for P3. It is a fight, but it's based on penalties. I know no one likes to take the position on penalties, but in terms of the Drivers' Championship, if Frenzy does get that P3 on penalties, then he certainly won't be complaining, although I'm pretty sure we'll find not Luke Beck trying to find a reason for one of those penalties not to stand. However, there is still time. He could pick up another penalty, or Frenzy could pick a penalty up, and that would take him out of contention. See Frenzy just get a couple of tenths closer there as well, in very quick succession. I don't know whether not Luke Beck maybe has had an issue trying to hook it up. Let's ride on board with the McLaren, who is chasing to get inside that window. Lovely line as we head down into Portier and down to the tunnel. Just thinking back to the start of the Grand Prix as well, we've only really had one driver that has really benefited from this drive and really come through the field, which is Frenzy we're right on board with. He has had a lot of luck in there with other drivers, obviously DNFing or retiring for various reasons, but he's managed to stay out of trouble, keep it clean. I think he's had a front wing change for an end plate that I've seen. Other than that, he's now pushing for a potential podium from the back of the grid. He's within half a second of those penalty points, so he really is trying to close in on it. He knows it's there. He knows there's only 3 laps left to go, including the lap that he's on now. Heading down into Nouvelle Chicane. Only got 2 more laps to correctly thread the needle through that section. Certainly pushing through swimming pool. It's not a time you'd want to push and risk your car, but at the same time he wants to get that podium as he gets within a couple of tenths of the podium position. This is riding on board. It's 17.0. Not Luke Beck potentially could respond to this and really push, but if he does, is he at risk of picking up another penalty? It is hovering right on the 17-second cusp. Luke Beck doesn't seem to have anything to give, as Frenzy in that one sector alone has taken half a second out of him. And he is now looking good for P3 with a lap and a half to go. It does look like Luke Beck might have just started to respond. He's just pulled a couple of tenths out there. It is going to come down to the last lap if he can keep it inside that 17-second barrier. As we see, instant ahead. What has happened? No, Harras has gone in. He is going for the fastest lap, but I don't think he expected to lose the position there to not Luke Beck on track. He doesn't want to get bottlenecked behind not Luke Beck, and he certainly doesn't want to have an issue now because Frenzy is right there. Not Luke Beck will drop behind him on penalty points anyway, so it doesn't overly affect that particular issue. I'm going to ride on board with the Mercedes. Really annoying, I can't see the gap now between not Luke Beck and Frenzy. Is it within the 17 seconds? I think it is at the minute, but only just about. It is going to be very, very close down to the wire as we come across the line for the final time. Race leader has gone over the start-finish line, 33 seconds out front. As we see Harras line up here. Now he is going for a fastest lap, so good luck to him on this lap. I'm going to ride on board with him. Spencer Milton out front, absolutely controlling and dominating this race from the get-go. 34-second lead as he, I would presume, is just going to be coasting home. Maybe he's going for fastest lap. As the Harras there take fastest sector 1 as the screen goes purple. Not Luke Beck now holding him up. You'll want him out of the way so he can get through, otherwise he won't get this fastest lap. As you see Spencer Milton turn the final corner there to take the checkered flag in this Monaco Grand Prix. Absolutely dominated the race. Brilliant performance all the way through. So the Aston Martin there completely get in the way of Harras, meaning Harras won't be able to complete a lap. I'm not entirely sure what we just saw there. I don't know whether he just cut him off or went into the back. It certainly didn't look like fair play. See him come across the line. Where is Frenzy? Frenzy will pick up P3 as we see him round in the final corner. Final car across the line. There we are. He's going to jump up to P3 on those penalty points. Absolutely superb race by Spencer Milton out front. Superb race by Frenzy. Frenzy, driver of the day. I'd certainly say so from my point of view as well. He wasn't the fastest on track. He was just consistent, and he kept it clean and kept going, and rightly so, got rewarded in the end there. As we see our top three, Mercedes duo taking P1 and P2, and now running away with the Constructors' Championship. As you see, Spencer pick up 26 points with his extra point there for fastest lap as well this evening. Extends his lead at the front of the championship. Let's just load up and wait for final confirmation of the standings. There we are. And Spencer in Mercedes P1 from P1 on the grid today. Absolutely dominated through practice earlier on, through qualifying and through the race. Harris's teammate coming up in P2, very good job there, just in the way of Valtteri Bottas backing up his teammate, picking up the points when it matter. Frenzy there in P3 in the McLaren, excellent drive, absolutely superb to keep it clean all the way through. Not Luke Beck, and Close Spanzer is rounding out the finishers for the race today. Thank you very much for watching DFRL's round 4 race at Monaco. We will be back next week at the Temple of Speed. It is Monza in Italy next week, same time, 8 PM, and we hope for an absolutely brilliant performance there. It is normally a very fast flowing circuit. We expect more drivers next week as well, without so many commitments next week, and look forward to a fuller grid for next week's race. Look forward to seeing you all then. Until then, there is your final point to pick up. And in terms of constructors, yeah, constructors points, Mercedes really have dominated today. It does mean McLaren are going to jump up the order as well. In fact, not only are they going to jump up the order, they're going to go from P8 to P5 in the constructors. That is provisional on my maths being correct at this time. Yeah, no, P6 in fact. But yeah, brilliant to have you all with us, and look forward to next week's race at Monza.